putting this down. Can you hear me all right? All right. As you can see, I've titled this presentation, The Future of Media. Again, my name's David Brazeal. That's a lofty title. The first title, Gus rejected, which was Let Me Tell You About My Blog. So I thought I should change it to something that sounded a little more interesting and engaging. The future of media, I think, is local and personal, and I'm going to go over some of the things that I've learned in launching what is just a local, personal site that I started as a hobby about 4 years ago. I want to talk to you about kind of where I came from and how I got to that position, and then what I'm doing now, and then as we get to the end, maybe talk a little bit about how this impacts media and really everybody in the future. My website is called republictigersports.com. I also have some consulting, social media consulting that I do under the name Squirt Cheese Media, so that's why that logo is down there. But Republic Tiger Sports takes most of my time, and that's just a local sports website that I started about 4 years ago. But I want to talk to you about where I came from, and that's why I titled this first slide The Past, and I put up a big picture of the New York Times newsroom. I love the irony of using the New York Times newsroom as indicative of what the past is for the media as just a guy who started a website. My past is in that sort of milieu with the big media. I went to the University of Missouri, went to journalism school, broadcast news, worked at KWOS here in town for a couple of years, went over to Learfield Communications and ran a radio wire service for about 10 years. And in the course of that time, because I was one of the guys who knew how to get online and go to websites, Learfield had a need for somebody who understood the web, how people were communicating, and since I was the guy who knew how to use a mouse, basically, I sort of went over to do more marketing, online marketing. We had clients at Learfield who wanted to do broadcast advertising, but also wanted to beef up their online presence. And so I would help them with that, whether it was kind of explain to them how a blog would help them, or maybe produce some podcasts. Those sorts of things were the things I was doing for the last 5 to 6 years I was at Learfield. So I was doing both of those things, but both from a very traditional background, basically just a traditional medium, where you gather a big audience and you're an institution like the New York Times. It's not very personal, and it might be local in the sense of a local radio station, but you're trying to just get in as big of an audience as you can. For example, the radio station in Jefferson City, they want everybody in Jefferson City to listen to, but if their signal's strong enough to reach to California or to Columbia or whatever, they care about getting those people because it's all about the numbers. And that's one of the things that I think is changing as we go along. So this brings me to what I'm doing now, which is a very local, very personal website called republictigersports.com. About 4 years ago, I started this site just as a hobby. I live in Republic, which is in Greene County, and it's just outside of Springfield. It's big enough that it should have like its own radio station, but it's too close to Springfield to have its own radio station, so it doesn't. All it has is a weekly newspaper, and the weekly newspaper is fine for what it is, but sports coverage in the town is nowhere near what you would even see in a town like Mexico or Fulton, where they've got their own radio station, they've got coverage of all the stuff that's going on. So there was kind of a hole there. I always wanted to cover sports when I was a kid. I did some sports for KWOS, and if I had one of these tags, it would say that I wanted to be Jack Buck when I grew up. So I started this website just as kind of a hobby. Thought I would do it on the side and cover some sports. And what I found almost immediately was that there was a huge hunger for somebody who would go out and cover this very local stuff. Because even in towns like Fulton, like Mexico, you've got a radio station that is covering football games on Friday nights, but nobody's covering softball, nobody's covering wrestling, nobody's covering all of those other things. Now, you wouldn't want to cover that on the radio, it doesn't make sense. But the coverage, even if there's a weekly newspaper, is not as expansive as parents and kids are hungry for. And I kind of stumbled into this. It was also a very personal site to me. I grew up in Republic. I always thought it was kind of a ripoff that some of these other towns had better coverage than us. So I wanted to do it and provide it for the community. And that goes back to the giving back that Catherine talked about. That's something that has really helped the site grow. I want to talk now about what is local. When I say I'm doing a local website, I am talking about geography partly, but I think that it goes beyond that. it's not just geography. This is not a website, this is too easy to click. This is not a website that just covers everything in Republic, because everything that happens in Republic is local. It's a website that very specifically covers high school sports, sometimes middle school sports if people send me scores, covers high school sports in Republic. And so the local angle of that, it's not just about geography, it's about subject matter. So you could start something you could start a website about anything you're passionate about. You could aim it geographically, certainly, but if it's something that you're passionate about, you can bet that there are other people who are passionate about it too. And a lot of times, and what I found in Republic, is that people were just waiting for someone to come there and do that, and to take the effort, and they coalesced around it. And what happened with this website when I built it, when I started it, was I put the thing up. The first thing I went to, I remember that first fall, the first sporting event was a softball game. And I showed up with my iPhone. I was going to take some pictures, blurry pictures with my iPhone of the field and write a game story. And the parents were fascinated that somebody was there to cover a softball game. They had never experienced that before. And within 3 or 4 weeks, I had 700 followers on the Facebook page that I threw up. It was just, this Facebook page was an aside when I started. It now has 2,500 followers in a town of 15,000. And that's the next point I want to get to, which is that I am committed to audience quality over quantity. And this is important, I think, because the temptation, anytime you start anything online, is to try to gather numbers. It's always about, I need this many followers. I have very specifically not gone to all my friends who've moved away and said, hey, follow this Facebook page. I do have one friend in California who grew up in Republic who follows the page. I mean, I know there are others who've moved away who are following that page. But for the most part, I don't advertise in Springfield. I don't want people in Springfield, which is only 15 miles away, to be following my site, because I want to go to advertisers and say, all these people following this site are in Republic. It's all about the quality of the audience over the quantity. And that goes back to the discipline, which is that third bullet point. It's pretty difficult when everything is driven by numbers to say, I only have 2,500 fans, especially when there's a new website in Southwest Missouri called Ozark Sports Zone, which is covering every school in all of Southwest Missouri. It's talking about the number of people that it has following its Facebook page, and it just passed me. It just now passed me after a couple of months, even though I'm in a town of 15,000. But it's pretty hard to just focus on Republic. But I would tell you that anything you're doing online, it's worth making that commitment. Anytime you think, I could do this and get a bunch of people to follow me, double think about whether that's something that's worthwhile to you in the long run. Because you want to have an engaged audience, and engagement is something that really has taken off, and I'll get to that in a little bit. So the benefits of local, first, it focuses your content. Here's what happens. Even the weekly newspaper in Republic is, it's trying to cover 3 towns. Trying to cover Republic, but also Clever and Billings, 2 other towns that are kind of on the periphery. So because of that, they have to put things in the newspaper that people in Republic don't care about. Every story that is not about the Republic Tigers in the Republic Monitor, which is the newspaper, is something that people in Republic don't want to read. It's the same thing with the Ozark Sports Zone. They have good coverage of every town, much better than it was in the past. But people in Republic don't care about what happened to the softball team in Rogersville. It just doesn't matter to them. So what you're doing is you're diluting your content instead of focusing it. The second thing that it does is it drives engagement, and I'll get to that in a future slide, and also it benefits business partners or advertisers or anybody who's working with you. So content focus, I just have this slide up here to show you. I went to a tennis match. I took pictures. I took like 80 pictures at this one, I think. You'll notice something in common for all of these pictures. They're all girls who play tennis for Republic. I didn't even have to turn around and face the other direction to take pictures of the other school. Nobody wanted them in Republic. Now, can you imagine a newspaper going somewhere, a traditional newspaper, and taking pictures of only one side? It wouldn't happen. That's how focused you can be when you do something that's truly local. Engagement. More focused content is more engaging content. This is the thing that has really shocked me about this whole thing. I didn't expect this. If you look at this picture, the tennis team won the district championship. I just posted a picture. Again, I've got 2,500 followers on this Facebook page. If you think about the number of likes you're getting on Facebook pages or you're seeing, it's usually a handful. This picture got 182 likes. 182 for a picture, and this is girls tennis. You know, girls tennis is something that gets no attention anywhere. It's really shocked me at how engaged people are by the fact that I've been so focused on Republic content. And this is not, I mean, this is a high one for me, but that's not out of the ordinary. I got one about a couple of girls golfers going to state that I posted last night that in a couple of hours had 35 or 40 likes. And again, girls golf. These are not two marquee sports, but it's something that people care about. It's also better for business because, like I said, I can go to a business and I can say, this is reaching people in Republic, and so when you advertise, you're going to get maybe fewer views of your content, but at the same time, it's all people who might do business with you. I put up this slide. This is a video I did with a local optometrist, and I have a sister site that I just started called Republic Tiger Schools. I hate the fact that band kids and speech kids and all these other kids don't get the attention, so I started this other site to do that. Well, Justin Hart, the optometrist, has done a lot of work in the schools, and so I sat down with a video camera and talked to him about that, and we put that video on the website, on the Facebook page, just to let people know about that. So I kind of was able to go the extra mile with him, and I do that with all of the sponsors. It's not about banner ads necessarily. It's about introducing people to that group that has gathered around the content of Republic Schools and Republic Sports. What is personal? I would say, first of all, it's not institutional, that it includes opinion and some bias. I'm a homer. I'm wearing an orange shirt because the colors are black and orange, and I got a volleyball game to go to tonight. It's experimental. I can try things and see what sticks. I put this picture up of my daughter, Jessie. We had a baseball game with my son over the summer in Ozark, which is Republic's hated rival, at least by me. And she was in front of this was not planned. She made this face because she was mad about something else, but the Ozark logo was in the back. The day that we played Ozark, I put this picture on the Facebook page for the sports site, and I said, it's time to get your game faces on, Republic, and put that picture, and that got almost 200 likes. But everybody knows that Jessie's my daughter, Timothy's my son. I integrate that. It's very personal. When I say it's not institutional, a little story I would relate about the Republic Monitor, the newspaper. The sports editor, name of Roger Wheeler, he's a great guy to work with. He's trying to cover 3 towns, as I said. Mostly Republic, but he's got other stuff to do. I have found, and it's kind of a running joke with us, that when I don't show up at something, people tell me, you're only one guy, you can't be everywhere, right? When he doesn't show up at something, people grumble about the fact that the newspaper wasn't there. That's the difference between being just a guy who does a website and being the newspaper. And so it's not institutional at all. And again, it includes that opinion and bias. The benefits of personal, this is my Facebook profile page right now. I've got the black and orange shoes with my logo up on the TV. Again, lower expectations, that's kind of what I talked about. This is a good kind of lower expectations where people don't grumble about nitpicky crap. You know, they will let you get away with not going to something because they understand you're one guy. The other thing is it's mine to play with. If I want to experiment and use some kind of a service, I can do that. If I want to cover the football game, if I want to make a Twitter badge and post my updates during the football game to Twitter and embed that on my website, I can do that one week, and the next week I can use a service called Cover It Live. I can try different things. And it's mine to give away. If I want to take my pictures and put them online on Facebook, 150 pictures I take at a football game, stick them on there, and tag the kids in them so that they have them, I can do that, and nobody gets upset with me. And that is something that has been, I think, really valuable. Other media outlets might post this kind of information, but nobody's posting 150 pictures the night of the football game and tagging the names of the kids on the team, and nobody else is seeing those pictures then be used as profile pictures by the kids on Facebook. That makes me feel good, and it tells me that it's something that the community values. And I think that the ability to give back, to give away media, whether it's pictures or if I do play-by-play of a basketball game and take those highlights and put them online and people can share them, even if I sell prints and I mark down the price from the default price at the website I use so that people can have them and share them. Those are the kinds of things that I like to do because I'm committed to the community. So very quickly as I wrap up, I'm a little over, I just want to say the lesson for all of you is that if you have something you're passionate about, it's almost certain that there is a group of people who are already passionate about it and are waiting to coalesce around you. So whether it's a media outlet or just a website that enables those passions, don't hesitate to take that leap and do it. I did this on the side for 2 years before I left my job at Learfield and started doing it full time. You can do it too, and if you're passionate about it, you will be successful. That's it.